pregnant, ain't you? Don't talk that on me. Am I pregnant? Guess he wanted to cheat in peace. Allow God to be God in your life. That's the video right there. Back up on my... I'm dealing with you. Hey you guys, welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, my name is Tay. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Turn on those post notification bells to be notified every time that I post a new video. And I thought that I'd go ahead and switch it up with a little OG. I have not done a story time in months, so I thought I'd go ahead and hit y'all with a little story time. So as you can see by the title below, we're going to be doing a story time on when I got pregnant at 19. So make sure you like, comment, and subscribe, and let's get right into this video. So you guys, this is just going to be a little brief, you know, story time. It's going to be a little brief, you know, advice. You know how we do around here. Like, would it really be me if I didn't get no advice? Okay then, so it's gonna be about how I got pregnant at 19. I have a second part to this. It's kind of gonna be like a chit chat, get ready with me, or a chit chat about self-love and kind of just what I learned from this whole experience. I've watched my second video that I ever posted on YouTube. If you haven't, I will link it up top. And it's basically when my mom died at 16. When my mom died at 16, I moved out at 17. And I moved out, I was staying with somebody for about a year and a half, 2 years roughly. And then I met this guy. Boy meets girl, girl meets boy. I met him and I moved in with him rather quickly. Like, I went there for a night and I never went home. So I got pregnant, and what's crazy is I always thought that I could not have kids. I got pregnant and I actually found out while I was at work. I was working at McDonald's, and when I tell you I was eating, like, I ate like 3 Big Macs in one sitting. I'm like, something ain't right. And at that time, my period was not regular, so for me to miss a month or two, it wasn't abnormal. I would miss 2 months and then my period would come back on. I would miss a month and then my period would come back on. So missing a period was not like an alert to me. When I didn't get my period, it wasn't like a, oh snap, I'm pregnant. Like, no. So I was at work and I ate 3 Big Macs. Like I said, I was working at McDonald's. That was my first job ever when I got it at 18 years old. I ate 3 Big Macs in one setting. Somebody was like, you pregnant, ain't you? Don't talk that on me. I'm not pregnant. So when they said that, I'm like, am I pregnant? Because I mean, I was out here doing what it was doing. I was out here doing activities that cost for baby making. So I was like, am I pregnant? I ended up getting a pregnancy test. Took the pregnancy test at work because I was like this anxious. And the way that the McDonald's was set up, there was a Dollar General literally 2 seconds away. It was literally right in the next parking lot. So I was like, okay, well, just to shut people up, because maybe I just have a good appetite, maybe I hit a growth spurt, let me go ahead and shut y'all up and take this pregnancy test. Lo and behold, took that test, 2 lines popped up. I looked down and I was like, So I texted her father and I said, I'm pregnant. And you would think the reaction would be like, oh my God, like, what? He was like, I already knew this. What do you mean? What do you mean? He said, I told you that you was gonna get pregnant. And when I tell you, men be out here snatching females and plotting on females too. Oh, they do. So I told him it wasn't no surprise to him. He said that he already knew. So there was that. I didn't have a negative reaction, thank God. I didn't have a negative reaction from her father. He was just like, yeah, I told you that. So go down the line a little bit. I'm starting to think, okay, well, you know, North Carolina is not a place where I want to raise my child, and North Carolina isn't, you know, North Carolina just isn't the place where I want to be With my first child, there's not many opportunities in North Carolina, and I was in Rocky Mount at that time. So if you know anything about North Carolina, you know Rocky Mount is kind of like where old people retire and go, because houses were cheap, and you know, houses, everything was affordable, etc. This was back in 2013, mind you, okay, before COVID, any of that. So Rocky Mount is not really a place for young individuals to kind of get their start in a way. There aren't much job opportunities. There are warehouse jobs. I wasn't working a warehouse job, so it just wasn't, you know, it just wasn't giving what it was supposed to give. So I said, with the grand idea of, okay, well, I'm going to move to New Jersey. I'm originally from New Jersey. If you did not know that before, I'm originally from New Jersey. I have family in New Jersey. I have the majority of my family in New Jersey. So I said, okay, bet. I'll go ahead and move to New Jersey first, and then, you know, he'll come up and follow me. Well, that didn't happen. I was up there for maybe, and I was staying with family, I was up there for maybe about a month or so. I mean, I was up there for about 2 months. While I was there, I was working at Walmart and I was working at Target. Mind you, I will insert all evidence right here, every receipt that I can find. I was working at Target and I was working at Walmart. I was busting 2 jobs, and when I tell you, everything was just, that's what I say, the divine timing of the Lord. I wasn't supposed to be in I wasn't supposed to move back to New Jersey. So my dad had bought me a car because it was my first job, and I had already missed a day of work because I didn't have reliable transportation. I didn't have a car. So my first car my daddy bought for me, and I drove that car to New Jersey. Mind you, it was like a 2011 type Chevy Cavalier. It was green, it had 2 doors, and I had to, see, kids don't know nothing about cranking the doggone window. I had to crank the window in my little Chevy Cavalier. I drove that there. Eventually my engine blew. Eventually my engine blew in my Cavalier, and I had no more Cavalier. I put it in, I sold it to junkyard, and I got like $200, maybe $500. So then my dad turns around and buys me another car. This then resorts to me going back to North Carolina. I went to North Carolina by train. I took the train back to North Carolina, and when I got there, I learned, or I found out, that my then boyfriend, aka the father of my child, was, you know, stepping around and doing what he was doing, right? He was doing what he was doing, other females, and I was just like, I'm not going nowhere. And this will tie into my next video that I post, just about self-love and all of that, because right then and there I should have been like, ooh, okay, we good, we good. I should have went back to New Jersey and raised my daughter, or I should have just went into a different housing situation. This was the first and only time that I moved in with a man. I was young. I was 19. Like, come on, I was 19. Okay, you cheating? I'm not going nowhere. Cheat now. With me right up in your face, even though he still did, but cheat now. I decided to stay in North Carolina. I stopped working as well. I just stopped working because he was trying so hard to prove to me that, you know, oh, he was so sorry, he changed, and this, that, and the third. So, you know, I didn't have to work because he was paying everything. So because he was paying, lesson number 2, okay, lesson number 2, make sure you always got your own, okay? Make sure you always got your own, period. Okay, I was paying everything. So when I didn't like a job, I quit it, because I knew that I was going to be taken care of. Okay, bills were going to be taken care of, and I didn't even have a lot of bills. Like, my car was paid off, my daddy bought my car, I only had like liability insurance, a phone bill, so I didn't have much bills, you know. I wasn't that much of a liability. And in turns breaks up with me. Guess he wanted to cheat in peace. But we were still living together. So that kind of like put some fire up under me, because I'm like, okay, I'm about to have a baby. I'm about to have a baby and I need to go ahead and get my own place. I'm doing an application for public housing. It wasn't Section 8, it was low income housing. And I got approved like in March, and then like 2 weeks before March ended, April 4th, 2014 is when I had my daughter. So I'm like, okay, cool. Okay, cool. You living with me now. You living with me now, okay? I was in labor for 12 to 15 hours. Y'all bear with me. It was 8 years ago. I was in labor for about 12 to 15 hours, and I had an epidural. She split me. Okay, fume. She split me. So I needed like 2 stitches, but all in all, the bundle of joy was here. Okay, ching. The bundle of joy was here. How I felt because I always said that I was going to be the person who never had kids until I was married. So for me to have a child out of wedlock, and not because of no religious reason, I just wanted to have a family, you know? I was split between, okay, my mom is gone, I really want to be somebody's mother. And then I was split with, dang girl, you said that you was going to wait until you were married to have kids. Like, I just wanted to do it, you know, I just wanted to do it that way. So I was kind of like beating myself up. But then at the same time, this child brought me so much joy. Like, my daughter brought me so much joy, still does, brought me so much joy. And it's just like, dang, did I fumble the bag, or was this a blessing? And what I've learned is sin is in the fornication, but the sin is never in the child. Actually, after about 8 or 9 months, me and her dad kind of just split. It was just, I just got to a breaking point of, okay, I can't keep taking the disrespect, because that's what it was. It was disrespect. Stepping out on me, you disrespecting me, you gone all night. Like, I just couldn't take the disrespect. It really just shows you why the Lord says not to have sex before marriage, because not only soul ties, but you know, I got out of the relationship, yes, but I got out of the relationship with a child, which difficults things 10 times more. Like, it just makes it so much more, you know, tricky, because although, you know, with the ex, if we don't have no kids, then baby, I don't ever got to talk to you again, block you, whatever. But because we have a child, we have to communicate. We have to talk to each other. I have to deal with you. You have to deal with me. We have to somewhat get along to have like a real good co-parenting relationship. And I won't get into the depths of that, because this is about me. This ain't about nobody else. I had this child and I was just really, you know, beating myself up. I did not regret her. I wanted her, but I didn't feel like I was ready for her. As a first-time mother, all the things that go through your mind, oh man, am I gonna do this right? Am I gonna do this right? How are they gonna act? This, that, all this different stuff just plays into your mind, and it's just like, I don't want to fail. Guys, if there's a change in angle or anything like that, my camera died. I don't want to fail my child. I don't want to fail my mother. Like, I just don't want to fail. So being so young to be responsible for another person when you're still a baby yourself, whew, it's hard. It's hard. But and then to be a single mother at that, like, my fairy tale dream was to get married, have kids with one person, you know, build a life with one person, build a future with one person, you know, we have kids, etc., etc. My first kid is their first kid, all this other stuff, and it didn't happen like that. So I felt like I was failing myself. I felt like I was failing God. I felt like, and mind you, anybody that I told around me, I told my dad, I told my family, I told friends, nobody ever said, oh well, dang. You know, my dad was very nonchalant about it when I first told him. He was like, okay. And then when she got here, girl, that's still his world. I I don't matter. But he never was just like, oh, I'm disappointed in you. He never once gave me that, you know. And it's just like I felt like I was just becoming like a failure. Like I wasn't supposed to have a child right now. After I had her until, you know, a few years, you know, after she was born, I saw how much, you know, she changed me. And that's why there's just so many lessons within a mistake. Though it was a lesson, it was a painful lesson, there was purpose behind it. Both of my children have just changed me for the better. Like, and I'll talk about my second pregnancy, because my second pregnancy was completely different than my first pregnancy. My first pregnancy, like, I wanted her. I was just, you know, doubting myself. My second pregnancy was completely different. I can still use our mistakes for his glory. God can still use our hard-headedness for his glory. We're not going to be able to see the end result of our mistake. When we make a mistake, we focus on our mistake. I had to forgive myself, essentially. I had to forgive myself and let it go. Let it go. Okay, you told yourself that you was gonna have a baby X, Y, and Z. It didn't happen like that. It's okay. You told yourself that you was gonna do it a certain way. It didn't happen that way. It's okay. Forgive yourself. You have to learn how to forgive me. Although I felt like it was a mistake, it really wasn't. Although I felt like it was a mistake, it was a blessing. I was supposed to go to college. I was supposed to, girl, that's a different story time for a different day. Supposed to, you know, live at home with my dad until whenever, until I felt like I was ready. I was supposed to do all of this stuff. But even in our mistakes, sometimes there's blessings in those mistakes. If I didn't eventually learn how to love myself, I would be in a relationship where I wasn't valued, where I wasn't respected, where I would still be there. I would still be there. He might have dumped me, but after a while, girl, they always spin the block. They always spin the block. So if I didn't realize, okay, I was young and dumb, because I was. 19 is still a baby. But I guess I can say from my mistakes, or what I thought was a mistake, or what I, you know, what the lesson that I've learned, I got to write your story even when you're hard-headed, even when you mess up. Because what might look like a mistake to you, God can get the glory out of it. Because now I got a testimony, you know? I can come up here and relate to people who have had children single by themselves and feel like, you know, oh, well, I love my child, but I just wish I would have waited. I wish I would have done X, Y, and Z. Girl, allow God to be God in your life. That's the video right there. Allow God to be God in your life. I didn't want you to have the child because I had a miscarriage. And when I tell you, I thank God for that miscarriage, because baby, that relationship all in itself, okay? And it was necessary. It was necessary. Because when you look at who you tied to for the rest of your life, they say 18 years, but when you look at who you tied to for the rest of your life, after the pleasure done went down, after all the excitement done went down, do you even really like them like that? Don't beat yourself up. You had a child out of wedlock. Okay. You had a child before you were fully established. Okay. Because the script is never perfect, you know? God is perfect, but the storyline is never perfect. We gonna step out of order. We gonna step to the left. We gonna step to the right. We gonna, you know, touch the stove after they say not to touch the stove. We gonna cross the street without looking both ways when they told us to pay attention. Like, that's just who we are. We're human. But allow God to be God in your life while you're still trying to figure out life. I wanted to give a quick little story time because I have not done a story time in a minute. Thank you so much for watching. If you made it all the way to the end, do not forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Turn on those post notification bells because you do not want to miss my next upload, okay? You do not want to miss it. And I will catch you guys in the next one.
Back up on my